Welcome to the Cat and Moose podcast. I'm Cat.
And I'm Moose. This is a true life podcast where we explore the quirks of being human.
Do you want me to tell you a true story?
Yes.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moose.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, guys.
Hey. So I've never told this story because I'm so embarrassed.
And you're going to say it out loud in public? Okay.
It's not.
Hey, I just have to interrupt and say, please ignore Vinny, who's downstairs. He's barking at somebody and we don't know why. And sorry.
It's
Keep
a small
going.
dog.
Tell us the story, Moose.
Okay. So when I was like 13 and I had recently been saved by the blood of Christ and and I, you know, they say that music industry people like us are actually just people who wanted to be the artist but didn't have enough talent.
Now, who is they? Is what I want to know.
I mean, ask
'Cause
Sarah.
They are assholes.
I have the corner on the market of the theys.
Okay.
I really do, because Sarah makes fun of me all the time when I'll say they're saying that, and she's like, who is they? But I really do know what people are saying.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
So what was I just talking about?
About being 13 and being saved by the blood of the Lamb. I'm just reflecting back your
thank
truth.
you. So I went to my two best friends who were twins, Jennifer and Becky are their
Okay.
names, if you're listening.
And you were best friends with both of them.
You have to be. They're twins. You know, you can't leave one out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they were different.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
haven't
because
done-
when we're hanging out, the other one's there. I mean,
They have to be together at all times.
they're not conjoined. I want to make sure.
We did a whole episode.
We
on
did. I
conjoined
remember
twins.
them. Mhm.
Yeah, if you go Google that. Okay, so they're not conjoined. Anyway, my two friends, there was some verse in the Bible, this is all I wanted to say, that said something, you guys know it, about a 3-chord strand.
where a 3-chord strand is not easily broken. It's out of
Three strands.
Ecclesiastes.
Two or more gathered.
Well, that's a
That-
different one.
I think it's the same though, same idea. But
No
anyway,
more chords allowed.
I booked us a singing gig. We had never sang together, but I booked us a singing gig
Wow.
at a church that I think when we got there was a total of like 30 people.
Wow.
It was this country church, but the name of our group was 3-strand cord or whatever that is.
that's awesome.
Or 3-chord strand, whatever that phrase is, because there were 3 of us.
That is awesome. You were like
how did-
Wilson Phillips before Wilson Phillips was really a thing.
And here's the thing, just like the clarinet, I couldn't sing a lick. They were great singers. So I would just find the harmony and kind of not sing at other points.
Right.
Like I would look at them like, this is her part. And so I had us practice. I booked it before I even told them what I was doing,
Of
which
course.
is very
Yeah.
much like
Yeah,
me.
it's
That
very,
doesn't surprise me
it's
one
very
bit.
Enneagram 8 of you.
It is. And so anyway, I don't know what you said earlier that made me think of that, but I feel
It's because we harmonized.
like I have never really said that I was in a band before, but that was an a cappella group. We
That's
had one
awesome.
gig.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So this little known fact. Well, I want to spend enough time on
No,
that.
I feel good to wrap that up.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you,
Yes,
therapist.
you're welcome. So Sarah has been in a band, a legit band that had a
has.
record contract and a booking agent and the whole 9 yards. You were in a band that had one gig called the 3-chord strand.
Is that the right?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think a 3-chord strand is not easily broken. It's
but
like
you would
basically
know it was your band. So.
Neither one. I know it was one of those two things.
3-strand chord or 3-chord strand.
Yeah, it's more difficult to fake singing than it is actually singing, by
Yes.
the way. I would just literally, just like the clarinet, like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing there's a theme here of me faking my way through life. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so we created a band when I lived with 7 other women. When after
Tell them what your house was called.
our house
please.
was called the brothel because there's some sort
Beautiful.
of Tennessee state law or something that says where
two
7 or more
gathered.
then it means you're a whorehouse.
It really is a thing, right?
It is, yeah. It's really a thing. And so, anyway, we always called it the brothel. We joked that because all of us lived together that we were a brothel, but we were all good Christian girls that weren't sleeping with people, at least not that we talked about.
Right.
So, anyway, we created a band called Atian.
That is the worst name I've ever heard.
Well, until you learn how to come up with your character name.
Oh.
Because one of us was fascination.
Oh.
One of us was radiation.
Asian.
And one of us was Obama
Nation.
You know what I mean? So we all
That
had
is very funny.
and I made us jerseys. I made us everything, and we would practice in our basement. And our friend Aubrey, I think she played the drums, and our friend Leah would play guitar. I pretended to play guitar, and I sang like I was one of the which you guys know I don't sing.
I mean, you can at least
sing
carry
every
a
week,
tune.
Kat.
I do sing every week.
Yeah.
But it's not of the quality that people would want to pay money to come see. And so
Hey, which Asian were you?
I don't remember.
Well, just go with go into your body.
What Asian are you now?
That's a better question.
Everybody?
What Asian am I
What
now?
Asian are you?
I am
I'm gonna.
Imagine.
Ooh, good one.
Okay.
What are you, Sarah? Who are you? In your body. Asian.
I am a rhythm nation.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah.
Part of a rhythm nation.
Dun, 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 dun.
Moose?
Oh, Janet Jackson. Woo!
Boom. You remember that video? Yeah. I loved Rhythm Nation. I loved that record.
Do you know her song? This is an ADHD podcast. If you are just joining us, we are neurodivergent.
Yeah, and we will give you audible things to make you sick, like.
Oh no! I literally
and
told her I was
I'll
gonna
switch and do things that really just mess with your.
That keep you in defense mode all the time.
correct, but no shocking lighting, because we don't want anyone to have a seizure.
Yeah, no strobe lights.
Correct.
Yes.
What were we talking about?
Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson.
Oh, okay. There is a song that I feel like I've done this before on the podcast.
You probably have.
It's called Again.
Oh yes, this was one of your love songs.
Again. Have I talked about that?
Yeah, you have.
Okay, cool. Moving on. You can edit that. We were speaking about bands. Okay, so you were the Asians.
Yeah, we were the Asians.
Okay.
And you were the three strand cord, and you were in a band called I Am They.
I was in a band called I Am They. So apparently,
You really know about the theys as well.
If anybody has any questions about who they is,
Yes, you're the.
You guys
I Am They.
go Google Sarah I Am They.
And especially that video where you wore the yellow feathered jacket.
Oh yeah, it's a
music
It's
video?
a music video called Scars. The song is called Scars.
Yeah, that was a big song.
It's about the blood of the lamb.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Well, as it pertains to the blood of the lamb.
Oh, wait, I have one more question.
Oh.
But make it quick, guys. Okay. People can't stay on these topics for very long. If you were to be an artist, I know that's not what you really wanted, Kat, but if you were to be an artist, would you be a solo artist? What kind of genre would it be? Or would it be like a band and genre? Everyone answer that.
Okay, I would be in a speakeasy band with two other women. And I would call it the Cat and Moose Podcast.
And what would we do? Just sing like our favorite songs?
We would talk about the quirks of being human.
Oh, we would have a podcast.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a band.
I mean, you know.
You know what? You're in a what is it called?
A trance?
You are in a
Rhythm Nation.
Thruple.
Wow. Nope.
what is it? The kind of comedy you're taking class for?
Improv.
You're in an improv class and you denied me what band you were going to be in. You went straight for the podcast. So I will ask you again, what band will you be in?
I would be in a 3-member band that harmonizes beautifully.
Like Wilson Phillips.
Yeah, like I would just follow my people.
Do you think we need to bring the 3-strand cord back?
I do. I think we could be the 3-strand cord.
We changed the name of the podcast and people were like, oh, it's a Christian podcast.
Yes. Okay, let's start. We're gonna just skyrocket to the top of the charts.
I know, we really are.
Okay, so what would your band be?
Mine would definitely be, it would be a mix between Alanis Morissette and Wild Rivers and Brandy Carlisle.
Oh, nice. I would listen to that.
Like folksy, but
a little angry.
a lot of time spent on the lyrics.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
yeah. And you know, I have been thinking I'm writing more poetry and I'm thinking maybe we just put my poetry to some music.
I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be like a, what's it called when we do like a sidecar episode?
Oh yeah.
You know, like
sidecar. I like that a
sidecar.
lot. Write that down.
Moose's sidecar.
Yeah.
It's being recorded.
Well, I have a sidecar. Oh, it is being recorded. Great. Good.
We might remember it.
What band are you going to be in?
I think I like playing drums for like indie pop.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Okay.
I don't know. So maybe it's our band. Maybe that's what we are.
Maybe you're the drummer. You're basically in charge of setting the rhythm of all the things, which we just got done.
The rhythm is gonna get you. The rhythm is gonna get you.
I hate that song.
You do? I forget how much you hate that
her
song.
music.
Doesn't your sister just sing
she
it to you every
tortures
once
me
in a while?
with it. Yeah, she'll send me messages of Gloria Estefan, any Gloria Estefan song, because it's like talking about having auditory issues. Like if I hear her music, which I just did, thanks.
You're welcome.
It'll be in my head for days. Like I can't. And I'll literally wake up going,
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer.
Da da da.
and all those horns and like, oh, I just can't stand it.
Yeah, the horns. It's
Yeah.
a whole thing.
And then the other song, not artist, but song that my sister tortures me with is Smooth Operator by Shia.
Oh, that makes me more passionate.
Coast to coast, LA to Chicago. And it's like, wait a minute, Chicago's in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
LA to Chicago. Yeah, no.
It's not coast to coast.
New York. That's
She's
not
a
coast to
liar.
coast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so you talked at the beginning about being saved by the blood of the Lamb.
Right.
And last weekend, I had the pleasure of going to the National Eucharistic Congress.
Oh, the Catholic convention.
Yes, in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Lucas Oil Stadium. And so there were arguably between 40 and 60,000 people in attendance. I mean, it was huge.
Who lost 20,000 in there somewhere?
Well, I just think, some people tell the truth
Right.
and some people, elaborate. And so I know there was at least 40,000 people there. And some people said there were 60. It's so great, somewhere in there. And I had the opportunity to hear several speakers, several musicians, and I was fascinated by what I took away from it.
What was it?
Well, two things. I got to talk to in person, not like in public. I mean, there was probably 7 of us in the room. We got to hear from an astronaut, and he told us stories about space is gross.
Space is
It's
gross.
It's gross.
Because of all the junk?
There's all kinds of things that happen when you're in space that you just don't think about when you're on the Earth, because gravity is doing what it's doing. And in space, it's like zero gravity, right? And
So like pooping?
Yes, like pooping. So when you go poop in space, you have to take a glove,
Oh, man.
because when you go to the bathroom here on Earth, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is, right? Like
Right.
it plops into the toilet.
Oh, plop is such a bad word.
It is.
Plop.
It gets the point across though, right? You can
I'm going to
just
start a business called Plop.
the
Oh, that was good. Do that. Oh, that's so gross.
In space, that doesn't happen because gravity is not working to pull the poop down. So you have to reach and you have to scrape.
No.
And then you have to like
Scrape?
Well, I mean, you have to, if you want to wipe your butt.
Well,
I
if
mean,
you're, I'm already doing that, aren't I?
yes.
But with a glove?
Well, because you're not, like when you wipe your butt, the boom has already happened here.
Oh, you're grabbing it?
So you got to go get it. You got to go get the feces. And so then you take
Can you not say feces or plop?
Sorry. So anyway, you got to take care of that and then do the glove, you know, like inside out and put it like in a diaper genie, basically, is like what they have up there. And then after
It's like picking up dog poop.
a little bit. And then after a certain amount of time, the container that contains number 2, I followed your rules.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted some acknowledgement for that.
You're welcome.
So
I mean, thank you.
So you put the shit in the can, and every so often a spacecraft comes from Earth to pick up the shit cans, and they get to put all the shit cans in the spacecraft, and then they send it back to Earth, but they make this particular spaceship so that it burns up in the atmosphere. So what happens to astronaut poop in space is that it gets sent back toward Earth, and on its re-entry into the Earth, it disintegrates.
No.
So if every now and then you're walking around and
Oh my gosh.
you might be smelling disintegrated astronaut poop.
That is like, I know someone, I almost said who it was, but I know someone who, after a week of camping, it's not anyone in this room, it isn't, opens the sewer on their country roads and just empties the sewage.
And just lets it go.
Just lets it,
wow.
Especially because they live out near all the cows, you know?
So it's like, what's the difference between
Yeah.
our shit and their shit?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought it was actually quite fastidious of us humans to go like, well, at least like you're not just throwing the shit out into space and just letting it float
I think
around.
they are.
But
I
they're
think-
not.
Okay.
They're sending it back
Who
to
told
Earth.
you this?
An astronaut.
And how the hell does this have anything to do with the Catholic Eucharist
is a great
convention?
question.
Thank you.
He was one of the keynote speakers. And so I got to spend time with him the night before his talk.
Oh, that's cool.
backstage, and we were actually sitting in the locker room of the Indianapolis Colts.
cool.
It was so neat.
I've been there.
What is the second thing you learned?
The second thing I learned, and this is going to be controversial, I think, especially with you.
Probably.
I listened to a talk by Bishop Robert Barron. He's a bishop up in Minnesota, and he's an excellent speaker. He's got great skills. And he started talking about chastity. And when you think about chastity,
Like the belts.
yes, yeah, like a chastity
First thing I
belt.
think of.
Do you have one, Sarah?
Me? Yeah. Never.
You seemed instantly familiar with
Can you
it.
find a photo while she's talking? Because I
Of a
want to see what that
chastity
looks
belt,
like. Yeah.
So he was saying that, like, well, a lot of times when we hear about chastity, especially in the church, we think of celibacy. We
Right.
think of, like, in the Catholic Church, priests and nuns are celibate. Like that's part of their sacrifice. It's part of their calling. And so he was like, what do you think of when you think of chastity? And of course, everybody was like belt or like sex or like, you know, like all of that kind of stuff. And he started talking about how what he was really encouraging was understand the actual meaning of the values of the church, chastity being one of them, poverty being one of them, and there are several more. And so, so when we talk about chastity, he was saying that the reason that the Catholic Church is against birth control is not for any other reason than making sure, and I'm botching this because he said it so much more eloquently, but he was basically saying that, like, using birth control really objectifies the woman, and it makes the woman just an instrument of a man's desire if he doesn't have to worry about getting her pregnant. And so he was saying chastity is actually you as a man loving your partner, your wife, enough to utilize self-restraint during times where she's likely to become pregnant, rather than just like covering it up literally and just having sex, you know? And to me, I thought, like, what a beautiful way to look at how to love another person.
Yeah.
And it was interesting for me because I consider myself progressive. I consider myself more left than right. And, you know, and it's like the church is like, it's really hurt me my whole life and blah, 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 blah. And I really allowed myself to just really receive what I heard and learned. And I thought it was fascinating perspective. And so I wanted to see, like, when I say the word chastity,
Right.
like, we know Sarah thinks belt.
Right.
What do you think?
Same belt.
This was a deep discussion.
That's what a chastity belt looked like.
Ooh. What's the hole in the bottom for peeing?
Wait, can I see it again?
But there's still a hole.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you're allowed to touch things. You just can't fit it in.
Oh my.
Hey, you guys asked the
God.
question. I
Yeah.
just answered it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that perspective. I think that sounds like a great way to spin something. Like, and I like that idea that a man actually has restraint around a woman sexually. That's a thought, isn't it?
Or at least intentionality.
Yeah.
Hey, we know that if we're going to consummate,
Right.
we know we're going to have intercourse, that it is possible that without any sort of birth control protection or whatever, that we're going to become pregnant and have a child. And I think that, to me, I just really appreciated that it's like he kind of debunked the like, oh, well, the church says this, so they mean this, you know, it's negative. And it's like, no, it's not negative. It's saying, like, actually love one another intentionally. And I really appreciated that.
That's good. I've got some Christian news.
Okay.
Can you give me some music?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Olympics.
Yes.
Da, 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 da. You really failed us on that one.
I don't know the Olympic music. I'm very sorry.
Thank you for everyone.
Which, by the way, the French dude that swam the 100.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It was
I know.
so powerful.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. His name was Marchand.
Marchand.
Léon Marchand.
The president of France is Macron.
Yes, and he called Marchand. And
Yeah,
said,
he
"Good
did. And they
job,
said,
dude."
my name is Marcon. My name is Marchand.
And we are friends.
Oh, do you want baguettes? Oui, oui. Okay, so the Olympics are happening,
Yes.
and my Christian bubble update is that the Christians are mad
Yeah.
because
they're mad
the
about
trans
that.
people
Yeah.
and the Last Supper. I didn't know it was that big of a deal because I'm
What?
on Facebook. Oh, you don't know.
No.
Okay, let's fill in the people.
Let's talk about Da Vinci as well. Let's talk about
Yeah. So it was the first time that the opening ceremony wasn't actually in the stadium. Usually it's just people walking
Walking around
across
the track.
stadium. It's
Yeah,
so dumb.
It's so boring. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know it was dumb until we saw this year
Yep.
where everyone's on a boat. Have you seen any of the opening ceremony?
No.
It's fine. So there were these giant boats and each country kind of had their boat. Or if it was a smaller country,
They put several
They would
countries
share.
on one boat.
Yeah,
Like a little dinghy.
yeah. But they had these insane like dance musical things happening
Like
throughout.
interludes. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this
cool.
guy wearing a mask who was carrying the
Torch on the rooftops.
it was really
I saw Snoop.
fascinating.
With
Snoop
his
was
Lady
great.
Gaga, Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about
So
Celine.
all these things were happening. Well,
Okay.
one of the things, and you know, even they had a Marie Antoinette thing where they cut off her head, and they were like honoring all the history of France. I
Yeah,
think.
they were kind of doing like an artistic interpretation of the history of France.
Right.
Is the way that I
cool.
understood it.
Super cool. So there was this moment that I didn't know when I saw it. I didn't think a thing. I just was like, that's interesting. Well, there are people who are upset that that in their mind, it was drag queens reenacting the Last Supper to the point that the Olympic Committee even had to apologize.
Yeah.
Oh.
But to me, it looked like people who were theater people eating.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't remember the name of the painting, but apparently there's also a French painting, maybe by Da Vinci.
Correct.
That it's argued, were they depicting a painting, not of the Last Supper. It was of something that looked kind of similar, I guess. That just sounded real dumb because I don't know the name of the painting. But
oh my gosh, what a dummy!
Stupid whore.
You stupid whore.
But yeah, it's like a lot of people in my feed as well have been really, really upset and basically going like, I'm not going to watch the Olympics if they
that's
can't,
so funny.
if they can't honor my Lord, like if they can't honor my faith. And I've seen several people say like, well, why are they not talking about Islam or Hinduism or any other world religion? Like, why are they poking on Christianity? And so what do you think? Like, what do you think the intention was?
I think it's insane.
Yeah.
I think this is art. And art is quirky and weird and always has a piece to it of let's have a conversation. So I think I think it's crazy. I think I also think it's like the Brene Brown phrase of like, if you walk into the world thinking you don't belong, you won't belong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like this is a perspective of I'm going to look for something to be mad about and have some sort of like pious, how dare them moment.
Visceral reaction.
Yeah. When the Olympics is meant to bring people together.
Yeah.
Why can't we just root for our gymnasts and our swimmers and all of that? I think it's insane. I didn't know it was a big deal. I was talking to someone today and they were like, what do you think? And I was like, is that really a thing?
I mean, it's a big thing.
Wow,
Like,
I had no idea.
I've seen a lot of people talking, which, I look at Facebook for about 5 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
Like that's my extent of social media. And really I look at it because I like reading the little like, Sufi poems and the little like, things from Rumi and stuff like that. I really look for that kind of stuff. And I've seen so many people going like, this is an abomination to the Lord and all of that. And I don't know the intent. I don't know the origins of it. I'm not educated enough to really know. And I also go like, guys, like art is art.
It's so like, I mean, why are we so mad?
Why are we so mad? Like to think that like a drag queen had to be introduced to what the Last Supper was, or maybe the drag queen grew up knowing what the Last Supper was, and finally
she did.
Finally finally got to express herself in an
I don't
artistic
even know
way.
if they were
like,
drag queens. Why can't they just be? I mean, like if you go to an opera show, there are men that are wearing not the most masculine things in the world, or a ballet show.
Yeah.
Why is everything so
it.
offensive to people?
Right.
Just get over it.
Yeah.
I am sorry. I think you're crazy. Whoever you are, whoever they are, you're crazy.
I don't think that you're crazy. I think that, and this is always like my stance on things. It's like, look at everybody's perspective.
Yeah.
Just look at it. Like,
I agree. That's a nicer way to say it.
I had a conversation with my mom about politics this weekend, just saying, because I know that our family has very differing opinions about political things. And, we were talking about it and saying how some family members get mad at other family members because of their beliefs.
It's crazy.
And it's like, okay, well, can we just go, hey, I don't agree with you.
Right.
And I'm curious, why do you believe that? Why do you think that that's important? Because maybe I can educate myself, or I can go, wow, I do think you're crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like to use anger as the response is just, it's to me, it's the reason we have wars. Like it's the reason that humanity has a hard time surviving.
Yeah. It feels, I need to go one step further. It feels like a victim mentality to me. Very much like, see, we have, they're picking on us again. And like, I have no time and space for that. Like, I mean, be offended.
Yeah.
If you want to be offended, but like, don't stir it up. don't watch the Olympics. Nobody's hurting for your eyes on the Olympics. Sorry.
Right.
Like, boycott the hell of it if you want to.
Yeah.
We all have that right. But also, like, just check yourself because you're going to wreck yourself.
Well, and it makes me go, like, if this is offensive to you, you're posting on Facebook, which is maybe or maybe not run by people who believe what you believe.
Yeah.
So you're using a platform that, it like, to me, it just feels real shallow.
Yeah. It is not worth our time. So let's move on.
So let's keep talking about it.
Okay, I heard this phrase. I'm not going to tell you guys who said it. I'm just going to tell you the phrase, and I would like to discuss.
Okay.
All pain is the result of the resistance to your natural self.
One more time.
Sit with that for a minute.
One more time for the rest of us.
All pain is the result of the resistance to your natural self. And what that means to me is so much, first of all.
What does it mean to you?
It means that I had this phrase once in my head of I don't want to be complicit in my own suffering. And I think a way to not create the suffering, because I think suffering comes from attachment, is what I'm learning. And so this idea that, so if I backwards engineer this phrase, which is what I love to do, if I choose to not be resistant to my natural self, and I choose to fully, as my friend who passed away a couple years ago said, we are the gift. If I live like I am the gift, then does my pain diminish? Could my pain diminish? That's where I'm at.
How's that going?
Oh, I'm just at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's going. It's one step at a time. But I found that so fascinating. And then it also leads me into how much our thoughts affect our internal kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And the same person said this: you don't hold on to anything that you don't believe is for your benefit.
I mean, who was this person?
Well, it doesn't matter.
This person was very wise.
So say that you are somewhere that you aren't happy with, whether that's in your marriage, it's in your job, whatever the thing is. There is an unconscious belief keeping you there. So you're in pain, you're in misery, you're in suffering, whatever that looks like, physical, emotional. But the reason that you stay there is you believe it's benefiting you in some way. And yet it doesn't feel right. Then there's an unconscious belief that you're believing about yourself keeping you there.
Yeah. Wow. That's heavy. That's
is.
huge. It reminds me of the idea of the inner critic.
Yeah.
It's like that, you stupid whore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that, like there's a part of me that believes that.
Right.
And it's like, oh, wow. Like that's, I don't know. That's huge.
But the good news is the unconscious belief, what I'm learning is if you bring that to the conscious, I can't say that word. If you bring it into reality by saying it out loud. So say that you're like, sometimes I believe that I'm a stupid whore. Then it has less power.
Yes.
It's like anything else, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
so if you learn to go, oh, I see you. There you are.
Yep.
There you are. There you are. You could untangle the idea of I need, I feel like I need to stay here for safety. You and I were texting the other day and I was like asking you all these questions. Why are we this way? Why are we that way?
Yeah.
And we both kind of came to like, oh, well, we believe certain things about ourselves.
Right. And I've learned in my studies, we talked about this a little bit a few weeks ago, but one of the ways toward healing is making the covert overt.
Yes, I've heard that so many times.
Making the unseen scene.
Yeah.
And it's like you were even advising me today before we started the podcast when I was telling you about a relationship that I'm having a little bit of struggle with. You were like, sometimes you just need to get it out in the open. Like you just need to talk about it. And then it kind of diffuses or disarms.
Totally.
That it's like, oh, that thing that I've been feeling so much tension around. Well, now it's just been said.
Yeah.
And so now we can contend with that instead of what all of our imaginations are doing with it. And a friend of mine said to me one time, she was doing this practice, and I loved it, is when that, you stupid whore, like when that voice came up, she would go, you are welcome to have a seat at the table.
Yeah. Right.
You have an opinion for some reason. And so you're welcome here. And for some reason, Kat, you think you're a stupid whore. What's that about?
Yeah.
To like really look at that.
Right.
And it's like, I think that there's a lot of wisdom in that and a lot of healing in that if we embrace it.
I agree. And I think, a lot of the people that I've had the opportunity to coach are so unaware of the voices. They know I have voices, but when you actually go in and say, tell me what those voices are saying, that's a whole other level.
Right.
And then you have to contend with those voices, which is good. But so many times people will say, yeah, I have that. I do have that where I hear things. But just writing it down can decrease the power, because now you have the ability to go, oh, I hear you. Like you said, you can sit over here. But it's kind of like internal family systems work too.
Very much so.
Because you'll have something you're working on, and then another voice is criticizing what's happening. And then you say, hey, can you go sit over here? I always say, you can sit behind glass and watch us, but you gotta just chill. Are you down for that?
I like that. It makes me think of a song that one of my clients wrote called The Stories I Tell Myself. And he was saying that like the stories I tell myself, the lyrics of the song are basically like, is that I'm the son of an alcoholic and I'm never going to make it and all that kind of stuff. And he says in the song, so I remind myself by thinking about Joseph. I remind myself thinking about Moses. I remind myself thinking about Jacob. I remind myself thinking about Jesus and everything that they went through. And those are the stories. Yeah. I want to kind of rewrite the stories of what, my belief systems are about myself to reflect that of what God sees in me or God thinks is special in me. And I think it's a concept that is really, it's become kind of a hotter topic these days, along with like mental health and self-help and all of that kind of stuff. And I hope that do you feel like it's helping people? Like, do you feel like people are doing this more and becoming more healthy?
I think those who are doing the work are, because I do think that, you're hearing those voices are purposeful. They're there to, Frankie is doing a dance. He's running in his sleep.
Frankie is going, come on, shake your body, baby. And he's gyrating my camera.
I know, I saw that. In case you're watching and it was on Kat, that's
the rhythm of Frank.
I want to take it one step further though, because speaking of knowing yourself, let me finish that thought before Frankie did the conga. I think what's important when you ask those questions, I've lost it. I've totally lost it. Okay. But the thing I wanted to go one step further on is, another thing that I heard someone say that I've been pondering is, and I want you guys just to think what comes to your mind first. I always love that. Yeah. It's usually what your body is telling you. But what comes easiest to you? Don't worry about if it's work, whatever. What comes easiest to you? I would love for us to answer that. And then I will explain what context I heard this in.
For me, what comes easiest for me is either wanting to celebrate the good that I'm seeing come from someone else and go like, you're awesome, like you did that or whatever, or the critic. Why do you keep doing that thing? Why do you keep running yourself into the ground? Why do you keep my judgment of people's behavior comes easiest to me. And so I've learned to try to manage that and to just focus on the good. Be aware of the negative. You know, oh, this person is a gossip. You probably don't need to tell them all your deepest, darkest secrets. Okay, keep that in the back of your head. But what can I celebrate about that person?
Yeah.
You know, so like to me, it's kind of finding attributes about people and their behaviors, and trying to shine a light on that. I feel like that's real easy for me to do.
I love that. I think that's very true.
Oh,
What is yours, Sarah?
I feel like I can help people feel like I feel like I'm an anchor for people. Like I'm reliable and loyal.
And what does that look like?
Just safe to approach. Hopefully, I think I'm easy to approach, safe to approach, easy to talk to. I want people to feel at ease in my company. And maybe if I can anticipate or maybe understand what they're going through, or sometimes I can, maybe the word is intuitively see what, maybe they're feeling. I can help ease what they're experiencing.
I love that.
how about you, Moose?
Mine is, I love helping people see a way through a problem. Like I love bringing perspective. Like if somebody comes to me and is talking to me, like, I feel like I can see the big picture pretty quickly. And so I like the idea of being with people who want to progress, are willing to challenge things in themselves. And like, I love working with people like that, even as friends, like I love dreaming with people and going, what else is possible? Those are my kind of people.
Yeah. You're really good at that.
Thanks.
Like I feel
love
like, as is evidenced by things that we've started together.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Yeah.
Being one, the three of us started that because you believed we've got a thing.
Yeah.
Like we can do a thing.
Right.
And then we all came around it. Sarah was like, you guys have this rapport that's just amazing. And, it's really cool how, and it's like we talked about the whole cat and mouse thing and then cat and moose. And like, you like kind of, it to me feels like breathed that into existence.
I love that. That's like my favorite thing is like, I don't want, and I'm not a detail person. Like I don't want to give anyone a 1 through 10 plan of how to do your life mission. That's for Chat GPT, but I want to know what it is you care about. And I want to remind you that you can bring that to life. Like that is exciting.
Yeah. Love that.
So this idea of what comes easiest to you, I was watching an interview and somebody that I was listening to said, it's so important to pay attention to what comes easiest to you because we think things should be hard, especially in the Western culture. We think like it's got to be a grind or it's not worth it. And yet it's not just like, these are the gifts that Christ has given you. I don't mean that. I just mean like that is who you were created to be for other people. And it's generally what we want from other people. Is that true for you guys?
God, yes. That's so funny that you say that because my whole thing, sorry, that really resonated
No,
with
that's
me.
great.
Like I really do. And I don't want people to bullshit me. I don't want people to blow sunshine at me. And that's not what I do to people. So what I'm looking for is a genuine like, Kat, you do this well.
Yeah.
Like those words of encouragement, if they are genuine and if they are meaningful and not just like placating me, then it's like, I really do want that.
Yeah.
I want that because then I can take that and keep doing the thing I'm doing.
Right.
You're a great manager. You're a great podcaster. You're a great problem solver. You're a great, healing arts practitioner. It's like, yes, okay, then I can keep doing that because you believe in me.
Right.
Like that feels... Yeah.
It's kind of like how we all want to be the artist, but we end up being the support of the artist. Is yours true for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I have often heard it said of me that I'm like a solutions person. Like I I can see the problems, but I don't want to just be like, hey, look, there's a problem. I want to like be like, there's a problem. Here are a couple options to get through that.
Yeah.
Can I help?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But are you looking for someone to be your safety and your anchor when you're... So that is something...
Well, and I feel like I've often said, like, we're best at giving away the thing we need most.
Yeah. It takes me like years to catch up with my friends. Like, I know that I'm smart, but I mean, you've said that a million times and I finally get it now.
Well, because we know what it feels like, looks like, you know, whatever. So we could give that away very easily because we know exactly what that should look and feel and taste like.
I just got in my head. For his highest, I give my utmost.
I mean, you are bringing the hymns to the podcast the last few
Twyla
weeks.
Paris, my utmost for his highest. Do you remember that song?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that record.
For his highest.
Okay, one last thing on I think it's the very last link I gave you. Speaking of the Olympics, I wanted to show you guys a video and see if you could imagine the three of us doing this.
Oh, I can't wait. Is this a synchronized diving?
No, I wish. But
Because we could slay that.
I saw some people like us try and do the synchronized diving, and it reminded me of us spelling out cat and moose in the pool.
We should try synchronized diving for
really should.
our summer social media extravaganza.
Okay, let's see if I can get this going.
This was in the opening ceremony, and I just could not stop watching it because I don't know how they did this.
Okay.
I'll explain what it is. It's the Olympic rings, and there are people running on top of them.
Wait, what?
How is that even possible?
Wow, that's cool.
That is so rad.
But do they have harnesses?
no.
Is the thing motorized? Like, how are they? I really need you guys to tell me how they're doing
They're
that.
using the laws of physics.
Okay, well, play it again and let's see.
Okay.
What do you mean the laws of physics?
It's a round thing. And
But he's running backwards.
right,
They're just running. He's
which is moving it forward.
Yeah.
How would you? Can you imagine us trying to do that?
I would definitely not be able
I would
to
be
do
dead.
That is
I would
so
be-
cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Oh my
That is
God.
very, very cool. That is a level of coordination and dexterity that I no longer have.
What would you break?
Absolutely everything.
I feel like what would happen is I would immediately lose my balance and fall to one side and just break
be running.
everything on that side. You know, like my right skull,
Yeah.
my right shoulder, my right hip. Like
I
it
would
all
just go
be
right
destroyed.
around it and it
And
would
then
just roll
underneath.
right over me.
Me too. Or I would get crushed by the following one. But like, I am so impressed with these people.
Yeah,
I-
that's very impressive.
I'm going to do some
Very.
homework and find out more.
I thought you were going to say I'm going to do some training.
Yeah, I might. I doubt it, but I might.
Olympics 2028.
Yeah.
Cat and moose ride the rig.
Here we come, people.
We're going to be, where is 2028 Olympics?
Nashville, Tennessee, people.
We're going to be booking it down Broadway, man.
Oh my gosh. I'm so afraid.
Yes, I'm so
That
afraid.
thing was like
It's
20
impressive.
feet high.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
impressive.
How did they not die?
They're really talented.
They're very. There are some.
I have been watching
Talented
it
humans.
over and over. I'm obsessed.
Have you watched any close-ups?
No,
Surely
I really
there-
need to do more research.
Well, I was going to say, surely there are interviews with these people. Like
it's got to be
the ring
And
runners. What
Do they have GoPros on? What would that look like?
That'd be so cool.
I'll report back.
yeah.
Please do.
Okay, it was great talking to you guys this week, guys.
It's
Yeah.
great. I do want to set a little bit of a teaser for next week's
Ooh.
episode.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say if you like and subscribe
Right
to
here.
our channel on YouTube, that would be amazing. Like, subscribe, like that really,
YouTube.
yeah, that helps us. And I would like to say that I tried to what the hell?
Excuse me.
I tried to parallel park in East Nashville this weekend, and I
Oh.
popped one of my tires.
Are you serious?
Yes, more
I'm
to
so
come.
sorry.
Oh.
Wait, do we
more
need to talk about that
come.
now?
No,
it was a
It's
tease.
a tease.
Oh, what a tease. Bye, guys. We love you. Hey, can you play Come on, shake your body to the do
In case anybody wants to know what that sounds like. Special thanks to our producer, Sarah Reed.
To find out more, go to catandmoosepodcast.com. Cat and Moose is a BP production.